that lives in the unseen zones, not seen in between those without flesh or bone. Roam in the void, they avoid all detection. Interdimensional beings all connected. Angels and demons from spiritual realms, engaged in a battle from heaven to hell. They dwell all around us and even inside some of those that invite what they call spirit guides. Enticed by Ouija boards, they seek guidance and think there's a secret to be enlightened. Little do they know what they just invited. A demonic presence has just resided. In the days of Noah, all kinds of hybrids infiltrated the earth, but most were silent, wiped out by the flood. All these tyrants, bloodlines polluted by these ancient giants. Again, of renowned heroes of old have now returned, let the truth be told. They wear no disguises, Thoth and Isis are now with them to invite us and guide us. The fruit is ripened, it's so inviting it all to a God enlightened. And don't be frightened, but I must ask why their ideas seem aligned with Lucifer's lie. This song serves as a warning to anyone searching. Demonic minions are lurking and virtually everywhere, posing as anything, stalking their prey with original sin. This song serves as a warning to anyone searching. Demonic minions are lurking and virtually everywhere, posing as anything, stalking that prey with original sin. It's a coincidence that all these incidents represent all the same thing the servant said. Look at Genesis chapter 3 verse 6. It depicts exactly the same conflict. All this trick inflicted by the sick and wicked, invented, presented like a light transcendent, but it's dark demented. It just pretended, depending on beliefs, what you just expected. See how a rose has thorns and thistles? They hide among the truth to avoid the signal. They muddy the water with disinformation, persuading so many without a foundation. Some people like to listen to Ike and Sitchin, Jordan Maxwell and Tessarian. It seems these people are on the same mission. Deny what's Christian, seek secret wisdom, tied to the lies in the movie zeitgeist. Lost, they deny the existence of Christ. I defy you to find any truth to the logic. Go ahead, just rewind it and pause it. Study their sources, they're all Masonic. Elite Illuminati seem to be behind it. They know the public will buy any fraud that tries to deny the existence of God. This song serves as a warning to anyone searching. Demonic minions are lurking and virtually everywhere, posing as anything, stalking their prey with original sin. This song serves as a warning to anyone searching. Demonic minions are lurking and virtually everywhere, posing as anything, stalking their prey with original sin.
What's up, what's up, what's up? Got this thing all frozen. Yeah, buddy. I think you're muted, bro.
Was I muted the whole time?
I heard you a minute ago. Yeah, man. It's all right. Start over, re-intro.
We're going to turn this into like a series. I don't know how long it'll go.
All right.
Probably for a long time. I don't know if we'll do this like every Wednesday, but I could pump out a lot of these. I had thousands of slides.
Oh yeah, I know you got a presentation, right? That you wanted to share last week. We kind of didn't do it. So yeah, if you want to do your presentation today, I kind of wanted to read Ezekiel 7 real quick. While you pull up your slides, I guess. But I'm not. I'm just gonna let the thing play. I don't think it's that long.
Yeah, do that.
All right. Hold on. Let me pull it up real quick.
Ezekiel 7. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Also, thou son of man, thus saith the Lord God unto the land of Israel, and The end is come upon the four corners of the land. Now is the end come upon thee. I will send mine anger upon thee, and will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense upon thee all thine abominations.
So echo on your end.
Yeah, I'll get
This
rid
is
of it.
like 5 minutes long. Just mute yourself for 5 minutes, and then do your presentation.
And mine eye shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity. But I will recompense thy ways upon thee, and thine abominations shall be in the midst of thee, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. Thus saith the Lord God, an evil, and only evil, behold, is come. An end is come, the end is come. It watcheth for thee, behold, it is come. The morning is come unto thee. O thou that dwellest in the land, the time is come. The day of trouble is near, and not the sounding again of the mountains. Now will I shortly pour out my fury upon thee, and accomplish mine anger upon thee. And I will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense thee for all thine abominations. And mine eye shall not spare, neither will I have pity. I will recompense thee according to thy ways, and thine abominations that are in the midst of thee. And ye shall know that I am the Lord that smiteth. Behold the day, behold, it is come. The morning is gone forth, the rod hath blossomed, pride hath budded. Violence is risen up into a rod of wickedness. None of them shall remain, nor of their multitude, nor of any of theirs, neither shall there be wailing for them. The time is come, the day draweth near. But not the buyer rejoice, nor the seller mourn. For wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. For the seller shall not return to that which is sold, although they were yet alive. For the vision is touching the whole multitude thereof, which shall not return. Neither shall any strengthen himself in the iniquity of his life. They have blown the trumpet, even to make all ready, but none goeth to the battle. For my wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. The sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within. He that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him. But they that escape of them shall escape, and shall be on the mountains like doves of the valleys, all of them mourning, every one for his iniquity. All hands shall be feeble, and all knees shall be weak as water. They shall also gird themselves with sackcloth, and horror shall cover them, and shame shall be upon all faces, and baldness upon all their heads. They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. As for the beauty of his ornament, he set it in majesty. But they made the images of their abominations and of their detestable things therein. Therefore have I set it far from them. And I will give it into the hands of the strangers for a prey, and to the wicked of the earth for a spoil, and they shall pollute it. My face will I turn also from them, and they shall pollute my secret place. For the robbers shall enter into it, and defile it, make a chain. For the land is full of bloody crimes, and the city is full of violence. Wherefore I will bring the worst of the heathen, and they shall possess their houses. I will also make the pomp of the strong to cease, and their holy places shall be defiled. Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. Mischief shall come upon mischief, and rumor shall be upon rumor. Then shall they seek a vision of the prophet, but the law shall perish from the priest, and counsel from the ancients. The king shall mourn, and the prince shall be clothed with desolation, and the hands of the people of the land shall be troubled. I will do unto them after their way, and according to their deserts will I judge them, and they shall know that I am the Lord.
That was it. That was Ezekiel 7, bro. Ezekiel 7.
That was an amazing passage, very scary and directly applicable to end times. This video you got here, though, playing is crazy, man. I love those animations.
Bro, I just downloaded it already. I got to show you how to download it. Then you can have it for yourself.
So you just wanted to let it play out?
Huh?
And then you just wanted to let that Ezekiel passage play out?
Yeah, that was it. Because, I'll tell you a story real quick. You know, about maybe 6 months ago, I was arguing. You know, I've been arguing with atheists for like 4 years already online about creation and evolution, and you know the shape of the earth as well. But anyways, I was on another guy's page, and he's also a biblical end times type of guy. And I was like, how do we escape all these things, you know, like the 5G, these mandates and all these things that they're coming up on us. And then he pointed me to Ezekiel 7, 15, 16, where it talks about, I'll just read. I like this one because he's like, I know how to escape. And then I'm like, how do we escape? And he just gave me the Bible verse, Ezekiel 7, 15, 16. And it's, the sword is without and the pestilence and the famine within. He that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him. But they that escape of them shall escape, and shall be on the mountains like doves of the valleys, all of them mourning, every one for his iniquity. So basically, it's telling you to run for the mountain and the valleys, right?
Telephone, so this is where
Escape the cities, I guess. Let me see. I don't know if you pasted the StreamYard link. You have a different comment pasted up there today. You don't have the StreamYard link.
Oh, I
you
don't.
Make me a model. Nah, you pasted the stream will start in 5 minutes. I don't know if Peter Lee John joins today. That'll be fun because I only seen him speak like one time, very briefly on your channel, your old channel actually.
I have it up there on the top at the top of the chat. It's actually pinned on YouTube.
I just I'm looking at the YouTube screen right now. Maybe I gotta reload it, but it says we'll be back in 5 minutes. It's the pin coming. So hold on 1 second. Let me reload this. Yeah, it says need to make coffee. We'll be live in 5 minutes, so you need to repin it. Or if you want to make me a mod, I could do it real quick, bro. If you want to make me a mod on the YouTube window, I could put it. I could
put something in the chat, and then I'll add you as a mod.
Yeah, I just put hello, Peter. It's the last comment.
There, you're added as a moderator.
All right. So let me figure out how I can put the link to the stream. With that, bro, I don't know. You wanted to do your presentation? You can go into it real quick, and maybe Peter Lee will join. Are you gonna join today, Peter? I'll put the
Your mic
in a minute. I gotta open up a tab on my laptop. I gotta mute myself because then I'll lag. So you can talk about whatever you want, Chris. I'll be back in like 1 minute.
All right, then. All right, so Genesis 11 verses 1, and then you have verse 4. The whole earth was of one language and of one speech, and they said, "Go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach into heaven." Let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach into heaven. Let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. So this is what they want to do. They want to concentrate all of humanity down to a bottleneck and then be able to control them and put themselves as the head, So it's like, God doesn't give you your rights. The government, it's God, and it gives you your rights. And that's kind of like what they have set up in North Korea or other total monarch countries that are full of tyranny and oppression. This is their goal. And their ultimate goal is to reduce humanity to a very small amount to where it's just them and the poor, and they can just rule over the poor and make them their slaves or whatever. But then they have Satan working behind it. And when he's done with them, eliminating most of the population, he's going to then eliminate them because he doesn't care about anybody but, himself. He just wants to kill everybody else. That's his whole goal. He wants to be God, but the job's not available. So now he's all upset about it, running around trying to kill people. He can't do anything to God, but we're made in the image of God. And so he's trying to kill all of us. He's going to do it by establishing a new world order.
I should be back, bro. But yeah, man, I like the story a lot. I think it relates a lot to where we're at now with the New World Order, and when you talk about Nimrod and the Tower of Babel, it's kind of like they had a New World Order back then. But if you want to carry on your presentation, bro, I know you want to. One thing though,
yeah, I got slides, but yeah, anything that you have to comment on, you need to get that out because that's all. This is half Iger TV right here.
Yeah, man, definitely the Tower of Babel. I think it kind of warns us of how angry God gets when he sees I don't know, kind of like this New World Order, one world government is gonna anger God so much that he's gonna actually pretty much destroy the earth almost, release bowls and trumpets and vials and pour out his wrath. So it's these people think that after they set up the New World Order, it's gonna last 1,000 years, but that's a lie, bro. It's they're gonna be lucky if it makes it 7 years. You know what I mean? So so yeah, man. I did want to point out, bro. I can't pin the comment, but I did post a link on the live stream, so we'll see if Peter joins. Oh, he said I can't. I'm working, so we'll see if anybody else joins. All right, bro. That's it. You want to carry on with the presentation, bro? I'm down to listen to it. I know you got like a bunch of slides saved, and I love your presentations, bro. Like the ones I've seen, bro. You always have like so many good points, and the way you use Bible passages is, with your slides, it's pretty cool, bro. It's reminiscent of like Kent Haven. Like he does a great job presenting slides and graphics and Bible verses also, because a lot of people don't. I'm not that good at presenting Bible verses as I talk, but the way you do it, it's pretty cool, bro. So good job with that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Your audio is still lagging a little bit, FYI.
I might have to close the YouTube window.
So if we're going to look at how, we go back right to the Tower of Babel, and they're trying to get a new world order set up, and God's like, no, ain't going to happen. Well, we're kind of back in the same situation today because everybody basically speaks English or Spanish. And then everybody operates basically out of New York City, where the major stock market is. Everything is tied to the greenback. So you got America as the superpower, has been since the space race, whatever that was, whatever you want to call it. It established United States, or reestablished it as the main superpower. It's
like the Cold War. Well, not only the space race, but it was like the Cold War. So it's like a big psyop. Our parents or grandparents were under with the Cold War and the space race. It was a big fear psyop, just like they got us now fearing, Corona and man, I gotta get in the habit of not saying that on YouTube, but you know what I mean. They have us on this constant fear of invisible things, and you can't, like, it was horrible. You couldn't even go visit your parents if they were in a elderly home, and it's just a constant fear they keep us under. Just because when we're in fear, we can't rationalize or think as clearly. So yeah, man, I'm with you.
So you remember the space race then?
Yeah.
Because I was not even born in 1975. I was born till 1989.
No, bro, I'm not that old either, bro. I was born in 1979, so I'm not that old.
Damn,
So
pretty close to the space race.
I was close, yeah, but I don't remember it. I just I remember the last 5 years ago when I was trying to find. I sat there and watched just about every moon footage you can find, bro. But yeah, I don't want to get off topic, but yeah, the moon stuff is there's already so many people that speak against it, and it's kind of easy to see why. And it's most people think it was to win the space race, and that way we could be kind of like the head of the Cold War per se. But it's been all a big psyop, bro. It's always Russia and America. Whoever controls these countries at the top, the military-industrial complex of both countries. These people just love going to war with each other. In the 70s, they went all through Asia and created wars with Laos and Vietnam and Cambodia and even Korea. So and it's always Russia funds one side, America funds the other side. In the 80s, they did the same thing in America, where they created two camps. And then so the military-industrial complex loves to create wars. That way they can make money and stay in business. And then in the 90s and 2000, then that's when we went to the Middle East, and we're still there. And now with this whole Ukraine-Russia thing, I'm still not sure what to make of it, but I'm pretty sure they got their hands all in there too. So,
well, you go back to 1945, the end of World War II. We dropped 2 nukes on Japan. Isn't that how it went? Or do you think? I'm pretty sure that you think the nuclear bomb was a hoax, and that those two groups of people.
Right, correct. You're getting, you're getting off topic, way off topic, because I don't like to really talk about that, because then you lose a lot of people. But
we're talking about history here. These are in my slides that we're ready to discuss.
Oh, okay, yeah. But yeah, no, whether they're real or not, bro, they definitely did destroy these cities. And if you think nuclear weapons are a hoax, they just did it with a lot of bombs. They call it carpet bombing. So they basically drop off a bunch of bombs in the city and just level it off. So whether you believe in the nuclear hoax, which is, if you're interested, it's on my YouTube channel, Iger Television, and it's right at the splash page. It's one of the videos that show up as the most viewed videos right on the splash page. But I think it's got like 3,000 views on my channel. But it's a short video, 13 minutes. And it really goes into detail analyzing the footage and how fake those nuclear tests look. But yeah, whether it's real or not, bro, continue with your show, bro. I'm gonna try not to interrupt you for 5 minutes. Go ahead.
No, you're good, man. Peter says, "Do you guys remember George Floyd mural getting hit by lightning only on one side of the building?" Are you familiar with this? Because I don't know a lot about George Floyd, other than they got choked.
No, yeah, me neither. At the time, I thought it was another huge psyop because we were in the middle of this pandemic, and then people were like, there was some legit protests about mandates and stuff. So I felt like they also threw a bunch of basically not that they're fake, but just that they're planned by Soros and other organizations like that. They like to make chaos that way, to try to make more laws against legit protests, such as mask and mandates and things like that, which is more legitimate, things that actually affect our human rights, as opposed to some political stuff that get people passionate and then just going out there and causing chaos.
Yeah. All right, we're going to continue. We're looking back at history there because we're seeing things.
I'm gonna mute myself, bro. I'm
escalate.
gonna mute myself.
So they start with the Tower of Babel. Okay, and then that ends. And then you end up, with Babylon. You end up with Greece, or first Persia, and then Greece conquers Persia, and then the Romans conquer Greece, and then you have this division of the Roman Empire. The Catholics start ruling the world. That all dissolves over in England, and then England wants to take over the world, and then we broke away from England, and then United States is a superpower. All these things really escalate once it started going. If you go back just to the invention of the telephone, Alexander Graham Bell, March 10th, 1876. Okay, we'll start our story of the New World Order here. Fell apart in the New World Order like in the Tower of Babel. Now, let's just go way into the future with the invention of the telephone pole, because the Bible says that knowledge shall increase to and fro. That's one of the things that Daniel was told in his prophecies. Knowledge would increase to and fro. It would increase more and more, and then people would run to and fro. So that's talking about telecommunication. It's talking about transportation. So people can communicate and they can transport. They can go from one place to another, and it takes place at a rapid rate. So that describes, American civilization and what it started with the rest of the world, including China. But you have America as the superpower politically, militarily, financially, everything. So you go to the invention of the telephone, 1876. People start, figuring this stuff out. 1885, you have the first skyscraper that was built in Chicago in 1885. 1928, the first transatlantic television signal between London and New York. So things are starting to pick up. People are starting to really communicate. And, 1945, there was a world war, and we dropped 2 atomic bombs on these Japanese cities. And that was crazy. And so they was like, we should rethink this. And they all got together, all of these rulers. In 1945, and the United Nations was born. Then in 1947, Israel was born. And that was significant. Any, old geezer, some Baptist or whatever denomination that you're from, if you're old, you read the Bible, you went to church, you would look at this and say that that was a prophetic day in history. And it definitely was. The Jews that have been dispersed for over, nearly 2,000 years, brought back to the land. They fought for their freedom. They got it. Now, 1973, you have the opening of the Twin Towers. You have the space race in 75, the birth of the internet in 83. And then America maintains its world power in 1991. So we're getting close to now. 1994, the first smartphone was sold. That is mind-blowing, after all of this stuff, you don't think that like a smartphone would have been invented. But yeah, believe it or not, 1994, first smartphone. I was grown up at that time. Now let's look at some weird things. I just want to go off on some conspiracy stuff. So, Iger, you can help me out. You can unmute yourself. All right, you're the co-host. You don't even have to mute yourself. But
All right,
this is crazy.
I wanted to ask you about the UN, bro. What's your view on them, like the United Nations?
So, have you ever? I bet you've never heard of this, but I'm about to throw this at you, and anybody else that's watching this stream. Some mind-blowing stuff. 2001, Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, 19th of December. That was the debut of this movie. Okay, now, if you're not familiar with the movie, it's an elected group of people they're given the task of guarding and protecting the most powerful thing in the world, which is a ring, and they're entrusted to take it back to this basically active volcano and throw it into the lake of fire. All right. Now, in 2001, just rabbit trailing here a little bit, the American people were reminded that they live in a mortal country because the Twin Towers came down that year, which we'll get to in a minute, the Twin Towers. But in 1912, the luxurious passengers of the Titanic were reminded that money doesn't last forever. You know, basically they're all partying and living it up, but you know, nobody expected this unsinkable ship to go down. America's kind of like that unsinkable ship. So let's
Hey,
get back to Lord.
let me cut you off because you know about the Lord of the Rings. It does kind of symbolize like the one world government, I guess, and the Tower of Babel, right? I don't know too much about conspiracy theories about the Lord of the Rings, except it's kind of like you know, normalizing you with witchcraft, Satanism kind of stuff, Luciferianism, even in the Tower of Babel and stuff, and you got the whole eye there in the middle. I forgot what the eye was called on top of the mountain, but it was like the main bad guy. Mordor, I think. I don't remember exactly. But anyway, so when you go to the next slide and you talk about 2001, September 11th, there's a couple conspiracy theories I like to point out with that one. And, you know, it was done by the New World Order. That way it was a false flag, basically, to blame. That way that people could get mad and then go to the American people could get mad and that way they could go over to the Middle East, and that way they can go ahead and destabilize those countries so the bankers can take over that. So if you go to Iraq, and some of the Middle Eastern countries there now, that all the wars that happen afterwards, you can use your Visa card, MasterCard, no problem over there. So now the central banks control the banking, and that was the main goal. And then the other one, I don't want to go too in depth because that stuff also can get you censored. Not as much as the medical stuff, but either way. Then the second one is, and this one's interesting, and I never went down it too much. The 9/11 one I did because that's kind of how I woke up, you know, after watching a good video of like it being a controlled demolition, and then if it wasn't, you know, this guy in paralysis that's like 65 with a couple flip phones and box cutters that did this, and who was it? And that brought me to the next video. Back in those days, YouTube used to recommend some good videos to you. It was the New World Order and the bankers and the globalists. It was these people that were behind it. That way, you know, they can take us into war. So we will be passionate and wanted to go to war. And then, but the Titanic one, bro, this one's funny. Not funny, but it's it was odd. I came across it, but there's a conspiracy theory behind it, Chris. I don't know if you heard about it, but it basically back when the Federal Reserve was being formed, there was a couple of multi-billionaire bankers that were against like a central bank, the Rothschild controlled banks per se. And so these guys were in the Titanic, you know, and I forgot the details, but like the one guy that was supposed to be in there, that was also a banker, but he was with the New World Order. He just didn't go. And then the two guys that were, I don't know, maybe Peter Lee Jung can remind me if he's still in the side chat about the Titanic stuff. But there was like two guys that were pretty big, banking wise, and they died in the Titanic. So after they were out of the way, then they had no problem forming the Federal Reserve and whatnot. So it's like couple of people that were in there that were against the Federal Reserve at the time, which is, you know, another globalist plot to tax you for your rights, basically, and print the money and loan it to the country at an interest. And yeah, it's a lot to do with just controlling the money, basically, and who prints it. All right, bro, carry on with the slideshow, bro. Sorry.
They already have like most of the money now. They just want the rest of it.
They want your soul now, bro. They want you just obeying to their every command right now. It's like, put a mask? Yes, sir. Sit down, you can take it off. I mean, they come
So look
with
what happens here. In 2001, this movie comes out, right? Which is like, okay, who cares? But the very next year, this movie, The Two Towers, debuts in New York City the very next year after The Twin Towers in 2001. I mean, we're talking about a year later. Is that a coincidence? Maybe, there's like a lot of stuff that is coincidence. If you look at the woman drunk with the blood of the saints, she has a cup and it has the blood of the saints. You could look at the Statue of Liberty and Grand Theft Auto and say she's holding a cup, and so this is conspiracy. Or the New American Dream, she's holding a turkey leg. Like, you don't know what's happened really. Like, are these things a coincidence? Maybe, but that doesn't really change the fact that you have a superpower right now that has most of the control over the world, and they're perfectly capable of establishing a new world order. I think it probably will pretty soon.
I'm with you, bro. I think we already kind of live here under the New World Order, and this is probably Mystery Babylon. Most likely, Mystery Babylon, because if you look at the back of our dollar bill, we got a pyramid with an all-seeing eye, 13 steps on it, and under it, if you ever looked at the bottom of the dollar, at the back of the dollar bill, it says Novus Ordo Seclorum, which means New Order of the Ages. So, yeah. Plus, the country was founded by Freemasons, who, when they get to the higher degrees, I'm not saying the lower degrees, but the higher degrees. Once you get to the higher degrees, according to the book Albert Pike wrote, he admits that they worship Lucifer. So yeah, man. This is most likely Mystery Babylon. This country. And then when you talk about the city, it seems like it would be New York, because what you pointed out there with the Statue of Liberty, holding the cup like that, and there's a before the Statue of Liberty, there was a lot of goddesses, pagan goddesses, that it actually the Statue of Liberty is based on. So it's pretty crazy. Oh, one more thing, bro. Have you heard about September 11th before I move on? You ever heard that September 11th, 3 BC is Jesus's birthday? I think I lost.
I haven't heard that.
All right, we can we can talk about it later. I'll let you carry on with the presentation for now. But yeah, that's interesting, because if these people are behind it, then when I first heard that, it kind of rung a bell. It's a guy named Rob Steva. He looked back through this stellar thing called Stellarium, and there was some type of alignment that happened back in September 11th, 3 BC. Most there's a lot of people already that think it was in the fall, something to do with a verse where I want to say the sheeps were out grazing, so it had to be in the fall, as opposed to the December 25th, which is all the pagan gods' birthday, such as Nimrod and a bunch of other pagan gods. I could play that video. It's like 10 minutes. Or it might be shorter. It might be like 5 minutes long. I forget. I can look it up, but we'll save that for later, bro. But that one, when I heard that, it rung a bell, because I was like, yeah, now September 11th is kind of a demonized day in most people's minds, but what if it is Jesus' birthday? It would make sense why they would pick such a day to try to make it a sad day instead of a happy day. All right.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but there's definitely a lot of wicked connections, like Freemason stuff. The Statue of Liberty, for instance, it's like wearing a toga, and that's like Roman, and it's all weird. That I'm pretty sure that it's a man. Actually,
It does look like a man.
Liberty.
Could be Apollo or something, with the way the crown is shining, kind of like when you draw a sun as a cartoon and you put little rays of sunlight. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of connections to paganism with the Statue of Liberty.
Well, I think the Statue of Liberty and what it represents is, like, it's just coincidental, probably. But the Bible does talk about a city that's going to be reigning, and then it's going to be destroyed, and then they're going to take that wealth and then transfer it, to Satan, basically. The Bible talks about, in Revelation 17:4, a woman arrayed in purple scarlet color, having a golden cup in her hand, this is symbolic, but it's actually talking about a city, and the Bible actually interprets that to be a city. The great city, it says in verse 18, the woman which thou sawest, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. So this is a city, and it says the waters which she sits on are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. So this city has control over the whole world. And I believe that city to be America. And what's interesting, she's drunken with the blood of the saints, because this country was probably set up planning on such an event to take place, where America would be destroyed and they would take all of her gold, basically, her wealth and royalty, and they will dispense it to spill the blood of the Christian martyrs that are going to be coming soon to a city near you. You got anything, Iger? Because I got Revelation, you got 17:9. These verses are really significant, and
Go for it, man. Go for it. Carry on. I have a video. It's 10 minutes long. I wanted to play about the United Nations, and then because you brought up the Statue of Liberty, I remember seeing a good video of connecting a lot of the dots together. So I'm looking for that. So go ahead and go over whatever.
all right.
Yeah, go over Revelation. I'm gonna be looking for another video.
The Bible talks about 10 kings that was up in the last days, and what they're going to do is be dissolved into 3 when the Antichrist shows up. So you'll be down to 7 kings with the Antichrist as the head of them, and those remaining 7 kings will destroy this great city and then take the wealth and give it to the Antichrist. Because the only actual total monarchies existing today still, everybody else is democracy. The Muslim monarchies still exist. They're legitimate kings, other than the Pope, who's just the king over Rome. He's technically the king, but he doesn't use that, and that's significant. But only kings left are Muslim, and every nation in the Bible that was prophesied destruction today is Islamic. So very significant that you have 10 kings, for instance, over there in the most luxurious place in the world, Dubai. 10 kings that basically are over that whole region. That could be significant, but 7 Muslim kings I see, which are these 7 mountains. These are the 7 kings, regardless if they're Muslim or not. 7 kings are going to rise up in the last days, and they are these 7 mountains. And you have another king that is among them. And Daniel 7:24, the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them. He shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. So there you have it. And then what's going to happen? The 10 horns, which are the 10 kings, which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and make her desolate and naked, eat her flesh, burn her with fire. For God hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God should be fulfilled. So before the Antichrist even rise to power, these 10 kings are going to destroy whatever city the Bible is talking about here. And then the Antichrist will rise to power. 3 of those kings will be immediately removed. And then you'll have this symbolism fulfilled here. 7 heads, which are 7 mountains. And these 7 kings with the Antichrist as the head will rule over the entire world. And their main goal will be to reduce humanity down to 0, starting with the Christians. New York City, I believe to be that very city, the woman, the whore, which sitteth upon many waters, will be destroyed by Muslim kings, terrorists, and then that wealth and that power will be transferred over to a new world order to then reboot humanity.
All right, all right. I'm in a little bit of a disagreement, and I found a 10-minute video anyways on the United Nations, and if you could make my screen bigger right here, uh, just my face, I should say, like this, you could make my face full screen. The picture I'm sharing on my yeah. So yeah, so this is Helios 400 BC, Helios 100 BC, Roman sun god Sol Invictus 150 AD, Helios 200 AD, Helios 1400 AD, Helios 280 BC, Alexander the Great as Helios 200 AD. So yeah, Satan and summoning his legions, 1795. It's like a painting, and of course we got the Statue of Liberty in the same pose as that painting, and then there's another statue of Helios at the end. So that was just showing, since we were talking about the Statue of Liberty. So yeah, these people in high power, bro, they are like Luciferian, and they worship these pagan entities. If they're not the pagan entities themselves that are in control of the fallen angels, it's probably what's going on. The fallen angels are the ones in control, and they're just pulling everybody, all the little, their army. You know what I mean? The synagogue of Satan. These are the people that are in control right now. The Rockefellers, the Rothschilds. These are all Satanists, Luciferians. But yeah, and then I got a. This one's like, if you don't mind, I could play this 10-minute video of why I disagree with you. And I think it's more gonna be like the United Nations and these things that are gonna be the New World Order. I don't think it's gonna be so much the Muslim people like to see it. But this one's 10 minutes long, so I'll let you check it out and see what you think. It's 11 minutes long. Sorry. I could make it go a little bit faster, and then if you wanna, pause it for a minute, we could pause it for a minute. But it's pretty cool. Actually, yeah, I'm just gonna play it. Cool channel too. But yeah, I'm just gonna play it. And if you wanna stop it at any time, let me know.
I've just watched the video I did on the UN Security Council and Bible prophecy. I feel that it needs a sequel to flesh things out a bit more, so that is what I've prepared here. Please watch the first video before watching this one. There's a link to it on the screen right now. Just click on it if you haven't already seen it, and then you can return to this video after you've watched it. Otherwise, much of what I say in this video may go over your head. The prostitute, Babylon. In the first video, I compared reference to the wings of an eagle on the back of a lion as relating to the United States growing out of the United Kingdom. However, there's another term that's used in the Revelation, which can also be taken as referring at this point in history to the United States. That term is Babylon, and it is used as the name for something symbolized by a prostitute. This prostitute, and the name Babylon which goes with her, can be used to refer to the underlying greed behind all the various empires of man. In the second chapter of Daniel, the king of Babylon has a dream about a huge statue of himself, which Daniel interpreted to mean that all succeeding empires would still be essentially the same as his own empire. They are all just further manifestations of the same greed that is at the root of all the systems of man. Well, the same can be said of the lesson illustrated by reference to Babylon, the prostitute. Over the centuries, many artists have misrepresented reference in the Revelation to creatures having several different heads by drawing weird pictures of all the heads being there at the same time. This tragically misses the point. The real lesson is that all of our political activity over the centuries have amounted to little more than taking down one government or head and replacing it with another one that is just as bad or worse. To this day, people continue to look for yet another political solution whenever things go wrong, rather than recognizing that it is our search for answers in the governments of man that is fundamentally flawed. So this prostitute can be seen as relating to the greed that is behind every government throughout history. It's just that at the moment, the world economy is best represented by the American dollar. It's also worth noting that there is a suburb in New York City, not far from the New York Stock Exchange, that is actually called Babylon. Capitalism. As stated in the Revelation, all the merchants and shipping companies of the world have been made rich through the love of money or capital that Babylon the prostitute has represented throughout history. It's just that America is the epitome of the love of capital today. The political ideology of the whole country is capitalism, the love of money. This belief that greed will ultimately be best for everyone is most by the churches of America. That is why they are so fanatical in their loyalty to Donald Trump. It has nothing to do with Trump having faith in God. It's all about their real God, money. Permanent members versus rotating members. I want to relate this concept of America being Babylon to what I said in the earlier video about the United Nations Security Council. Remember, the council has a total...
I was gonna say mute your phone. It's got like a weird ring going on it. Oh, but this is interesting here. He gets around the 10 rotating members of the United Nations, and then he's gonna talk about three. I forget the video. This is an old video. It's like 2 years old or something like that. But yeah, it's interesting. I'll carry on.
15 members, 10 rotating members, and 5 permanent members. There was some uncertainty as to whether the Antichrist subdues 3 of the 10 horns, that is, the rotating members, or whether he subdues 3 of the permanent members. I believe that uncertainty is largely cleared up in the 17th chapter of the Revelation. This verse refers to 10 horns hating the prostitute and destroying her. These 10 horns seem to be acting in unity with the beast in an effort to set up the final world government. You may recall that in Daniel chapter 2, he describes the final world government as having 10 toes, as being a mixture of strong governments and weak ones. This too seems to be referring to all 10 rotating members still being there after 3 members of the council have been subdued. All of this would strongly suggest that references to the Antichrist subduing 3 kings is about the destruction of America and the effect that it will have on the other 2 permanent democratic members of the UN Security Council. The other 2 permanent members are the United Kingdom and France. This unity among the bad guys. For the most part, both the prostitute and the beast are the same. They both relate to the inherent evil in all man-made solutions that have been proposed throughout history. But this passage talks about a deep enmity between 2 of them at some particular point in history, which results in the total destruction of the prostitute, followed by world domination for the 10 horns. 10 horns which exist on the head of the Antichrist. In many ways, this is what has happened throughout history. One head chops off the other head so that it can become the new head. So these 10 countries unite with the Antichrist in destroying the present economic center of the world so that they can, corporately, become the new champions of greed. There is a later destruction of Babylon, which God does in the famous Battle of Armageddon. That is because by that time, the new world government will have inherited the banner they took from America. They will have become the new Babylon, the new prostitute. So one Babylon is destroyed by the Antichrist, and the next Babylon is destroyed by God. The leopard. In the previous video, I also went so far as to say that the leopard represents all those other countries of the world, including France, even though there is not yet an official animal symbol for what we have often called the Third World. This leopard, or the 10 rotating representatives on the council, becomes, in the Revelation version of all these animals, the body of a world government that is controlled by the beast. This too is consistent with France, or the rooster wings, disappearing into the body of the leopard, thus leaving only 2 permanent members of the United Nations Security Council who lead the other 10 rotating members. The dragon. I should also say something more about the dragon. A leopard is used in Revelation 13 to describe the body of the beast. It says that the leopard has the mouth of a lion and the feet of a bear, but it is the dragon that gives it its power. There's no mention of either the eagle wings or the rooster wings at this time, and even the lion or mouth reference may just be saying that the final world government still addresses the world in English. What I am suggesting is that the bear, the dragon, and the leopard corporately make up the final world government, and that the other 3 kings have been subdued by this time, which is why the eagle wings and rooster wings that appear in Daniel's prophecy are not mentioned here. In the previous chapter, the dragon is identified as the devil himself. Note that the dragon, like the beast, also has 7 heads and 10 horns. This is one reason why I've concluded that China will play a significant role in this final world government, perhaps even more significant than Russia. China may use Russia to gain control of the world, but the dragon himself seems more closely identified with China. The Antichrist or beast is seen as the personification of, or the son of, the devil, in much the same way that Jesus was the personification of, or the Son of God. So the dragon may be both a single person, that is the Antichrist, and a world power, that is China as well. This is where we're at in world history at this very moment. That beast or dragon is very close to taking control of the world. All that is necessary for this to happen is the sudden destruction of the United States, which I think is horrifyingly near. The bear and 3 ribs. Then there are the 3 ribs in the mouth of the bear. At the moment, China lacks the firepower to totally destroy America, but in alliance with Russia, such a scenario could be possible. No further mention is made of the 3 ribs in scripture, but they do seem to have come from a larger body of which Russia, the bear, is a part, thus coinciding with all other references to the Antichrist subduing 3 horns in the 15-member UN Security Council. Even with those 3 ribs missing, the body, that is the council, could still continue to function. Now, there is much more that could be said, but as I pointed out in the first video, these are concepts which require a lot of study and reflection, so I don't want to overwhelm you with too much all at once. At the same time, I feel we're so close to these prophecies actually being fulfilled that we should be trying to understand them as quickly as possible so that we will have the resolve that is needed to stay faithful to God when all the other defenses we had previously trusted in come crashing down around us. So please do study this video over and over until you have it clear in your own mind, and then do all you can to pass it on to others by posting links to these 2 videos all over the internet, especially through social media. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so now, and please upvote this video if you found it to be helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, this channel's called hold on. I think it's called End Time Survivors. It's a pretty cool channel, man. I've been watching it for a while because they had the cartoon that's kind of like Left Behind, but it's a post-tribulation instead of pre-tribulation. So it's a pretty cool cartoon that they had on their channel. And that's kind of how I came across them. I was looking for a Left Behind cartoon, and then I came across it, and it was a pretty cool channel. But I don't.
Yeah,
I mean, it's important we get both sides out there because that's I wouldn't say just as compelling, but it has its own merits. It's really complex though. Like
Yeah,
getting like a 10 that are over another 10, and then it's like you got Russia involved. And I do think that like you can apply those beasts like in Daniel to modern nations and somehow connect that probably, but uh, I don't know. I see it a little differently.
yeah. But yeah, it's interesting though, because if you look at the shield of England, the or Wales, which is what the Prince of the Prince, his shield or whatever, it's got like a dragon, and I don't know. It's interesting, bro. Or it's got it's got like a dragon with leprous feet. Or hold on, let me look it up.
Well, I definitely think the United Nations will come into play to establish this, definitely, but it's not going to be the military force will not be of the United Nations. They'll have to transfer all that to Islamic kings because everybody else is going to try to fight against it and they're going to lose. That's what I see happening.
Yeah, well, right now I seen some crazy parades from the United Nations, and it's all like Chinese people and recent. Like I'm talking about from like a couple months ago, maybe a year ago, where it's like a parade of the United Nations, and it's all Chinese people. So I feel like China kind of controls the United Nations right now. And Bill Gates, I can't leave that guy out, bro. He controls the World Health Organization. So that's why he's one of my candidates for the Antichrist, which we didn't play today, bro. I thought I wasn't. I thought we were gonna play that today too. You on your
No, I had
phone?
something else in mind today. More of like America,
Yeah,
looking
I
at
see that, bro.
how they could play into the New World Order, which I think they're direct, like that's the city that I was talking about. So like United States, here's what I see. They're going to have a war with the Islamic nations. They will win the United Nations versus the Islamic nations coming soon. I think this is actually going to break out, and they're going to win. And then they're going to establish a peace deal to where they can build their third temple in Jerusalem, and then you can read the rest of the Bible for how that goes. But that's the start of it right there. I don't know how Russia will be involved. Definitely, Russia will probably escalate the world into some kind of World War III scenario. So,
Five permanent members. Yeah. It is interesting how there is like 5 permanent members in the United Nations, and then 10 rotating members. I didn't even know all that till like I came across this video. So that kind of struck a chord for me regarding the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. And these numbers can change, right? Their structure doesn't necessarily have to stay like that. So when it talks, I don't know. It's pretty interesting, bro. Pretty interesting when you start talking about the end time stuff and whatnot. But what's going on with you, bro? Are you gonna keep you got more of the presentation you want to do?
yep.
Go for it, man. I got like another 30 minutes left, about 30 minutes before I gotta head in. So
Well, I want to like look at the Antichrist, and he has definitely like in the Bible it points to the Antichrist coming from Europe. So definitely the United Nations establishing a one world order. It's just about the United Nations transferring this power that the United Nations has, basically changing the whole system, dramatically. So right now it's the United Nations, but when they get this New World Order thing going, they're going to remove America and put something else entirely in place, which will be ran by these Islamic kings. And the Antichrist, he will come from this United Nations. He's going to be the head of it. Could be Obama. That he's definitely a good candidate. So you can go back to the after show episode 3 or 2, Antichrist conspiracy theories. That was wild.
That was fun, bro. That was fun.
I think he's definitely European, though.
Huh?
Now, Islamic kings, they're not going to like give their power to like a white guy unless he has, something to like, the Bible says he's able to perform miracles. And so you also have the false prophet. And so together they are going to actually just change every religion in the world. They talk about a coexistence of all religion. Sort of what's going to happen when they start performing their miracles and stuff like that.
Yep. All right, bro. Carry on with the presentation. Or can you? I feel like you switched devices.
No, yeah, I'm going to go back to the laptop.
All right. Don't forget to mute yourself, because then if not, it does a crazy screech sound.
All right, then here we go.
Go for it. You can. I'll stop sharing.
So I think, yeah. Basically, what will happen is New York City, United States, will collapse. They'll transfer this. The United Nations will dissolve directly into a new world order ran by Muslims. But the head of the United Nations, a European, which runs this organization probably right now, but people don't know him. Maybe they do. Maybe he could be just growing up right now. Maybe. Who knows who the Antichrist is? That's a topic we covered in the last stream. But
can we mention our 8 candidates just for fun? But for fun, I know it was Obama, Bill Gates, Trump. We left Biden out because he's too stupid. But
yeah.
What else we had out there, bro? We had the prince at the end. We came up with the royal, the queen's bloodline. So the Prince of England.
I think we had a list of like 12. I don't remember all of them.
That was fun, bro. That was fun. Like you could play that every week, I think. All right, go ahead, bro. I'll mute myself for 5 minutes. Go for it.
You're good. I don't know if this is going to switch slides. It might be going crazy on me. There we go. So 10 horns, 10 kings. They're going to... America, I believe, is the reborn one world government of Genesis. This is the Tower of Babel reborn. And it's going to have to fall, though, before the new world order can be established. So we're going for the Tower of Babel. And then now we're in the United States. After the United States is gone, we're going to be looking at a new world order. This is pretty interesting right here. According to Robert Frank, who worked at Wall Street for 18 years, leading authority on American wealthy, he said the 400 richest Americans are now worth $2 trillion. And there's the stats on that. You got $2 trillion worth more than half of all Americans. It's crazy. So in this article of New Scientist, October 2011, you have a study that was done by the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Zurich, third best university in the world of engineering, science, and technology. It's the same one that Albert Einstein went to. Well, they did a study, 37 million companies and investors. That consists of 43,060 transnational corporations. You can read the whole article. You boil this down to less than 1%, of some sort of entity that controls 40% of the total wealth in the world. So there is a collection of private bankers that have control over everything. Pretty compelling. And so New York City definitely has a lot of wealth. And if you could gain control of that, you could certainly establish a new world order. So I believe New York City to be the wallet of Satan's government. They're given that power and that wealth to one person. It probably happened then. Let's go to Daniel 11. You have the North King of Syria and the South King of Egypt. This is it's a history of the wars that took place between these two groups. That's what Daniel 11 is. Been studied by many scholars, and a lot of them seem to agree that that's what this chapter is. A detailed description of those wars. Now, in verse 30, you get down to the end of the chapter. The ships of Shittim, Cyprus, shall come against him. He shall be grieved and return, have intelligence with them that forsake the holy covenant. And this actually happened when Antiochus invaded and overran all Egypt but Alexandria, while his fleet captured Cyrus. Near Alexandria, a Roman envoy met him and told him that he must at once withdraw from Egypt and Cyprus. So after this point, and you can read the references I have here. You can do the research on on Antiochus and this whole story right here, having to withdraw from Egypt and Cyprus. It says that after this happens in the Bible, arms shall stand on his part. They're going to pollute the sanctuary of strength, take away the daily sacrifice, and place the abomination that make it desolate. So I don't have the right slide here, but this actually happened. Okay, with Antiochus, he actually set up like some kind of idol in the temple, and when they rededicated the temple, that's actually how we get the holiday Hanukkah, the Jewish holiday. It's a celebration of the rededication of the temple after Antiochus of this verse right here, like put an idol in it, okay, and desolated it in that fashion. But it's also a dual prophecy. So we have the historical fulfillment of this passage, and then we have the future end times fulfillment where the world will be under the subjection of a one world government. So in Daniel 11:30, you have the end of this European king, and 11:31, the depiction of a future king. Let's go to 31. Arm shall stand on his part. So this is going to happen in the future, although it already took place in the past. It will happen differently in the future, where he will physically destroy the temple, erect an image, and then everybody will be caused to come and worship that image. And if you don't, he will go and destroy you. But you're talking about a European king in Daniel 11, and so it represents the Antichrist in the future, which will descend from a European king, and we won't get into too much of that. But the point is that the Antichrist, if you look at it from from just Daniel chapter 11, he would be the descendant of a European king. So he will take control over Muslim kings. They will give their power to him, actually, just to be able to establish this one world government where they can reign with him. And because he can perform miracles, totally changes every religion. Basically, they all conform to that one. And he's going to single out the Christians and start beheading people, according to the Bible. And then we can end it on that note. I agree. Still here.
Yeah, bro. I'm still here.
But then you have,
bro. Huh?
But then you have, like that video was showing, it could happen that way, where it's basically just the United Nations taking control of the world, and America could still be here when all this is happening. You never really know, but I think that America would have to play a part in the end times, and if there was a city available to fit that bill of the city that is mentioned in Revelation, the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, a city ruling over all nations and tongues and people. If there was a city that existed today, it would have to be New York City.
Yeah, I will point out that United Nations has a headquarters. I want to say the headquarters of the United Nations is in New York City or something. They have something at New York City. So it's
yeah.
That is interesting, bro. Peter says, can you answer the question I had earlier? But I'm not sure what the question was. So if you can restate the question. Peter. Because, let me see.
I mean, the only question he asked was about that George Floyd. So I don't know.
Oh, it's not a debate today, so it's not like set up like that where it's. I just missed the question. I just got questions when you're ready for questions. The temptation is the mark, and it wouldn't be the tribulation for us. Last video yesterday. I think it's
Revelation 3, verse 10 and 11.
I think the question is about dispensation. Also, dispensation is biblical. How is it not? I don't know. And he just put Revelation 3, verse 10, 11. Which,
yeah, he was on that pre-trib, post-trib debate last night.
Yeah. That was a good debate, bro.
This one was totally false. I'm going to Revelation chapter 3, verses 10 and 11 right now.
Okay, go for it, because I got a lot of windows open right now. It's going to make me lag.
Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly, hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. So the hour of temptation, nowhere in this verse does it say that the hour of temptation is the tribulation. It says that there's a temptation that's going to try them that dwell upon the earth, but this does not say, that Christians are included in this. It doesn't even really mention, it just says all the world. So whatever world, whoever is left in this world, they're going to suffer from the hour of temptation. If you keep the word of his patience, if you're saved, you'll be delivered from this hour of temptation. So what is the hour of temptation? That's really what you want to figure out. Jesus says in verse 11, I come quickly, hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Seems to indicate that it could be his return. So if he returns and then you get raptured out, you're going to be delivered from the hour of temptation. I believe the hour of temptation he's speaking of that's going to try and dwell on the earth is the wrath of God that will come after the tribulation. So the rapture comes after the tribulation, okay? And then the hour of temptation comes on them that dwell upon the earth, which are the unsaved individuals. Maybe they have a chance to still be saved. I don't know. But we're going to be gone. They're going to be left here to endure the wrath of God, aka hour of temptation.
I actually started to doubt the rapture last night because there was a Bible verse. It talks about the weeds getting taken out first. I forgot what the verse was, and it was so late night. I was talking to you, right, Chris? I was sending you messages and whatnot, and I don't know why that was bothering me. I don't know. Still, I don't know why it's bothering me. Like, I don't know, bro. I don't know why, but I just we'll go over it next time, maybe not. But if you want to end it, bro, I kind of want to talk to you backstage for a couple minutes before I go inside.
All right. Peter says, here we go. Why would we go through God's wrath if Jesus took the cup for us so we don't have to? Well, again, we're not going through God's wrath. If you're going through the tribulation, that's not God's wrath. You have to separate the two. Tribulation, that's what the world does to you, what the Antichrist does to you. The wrath of God, what God's doing to the Antichrist, which is the supernatural events that are taking place in the 7 trumpets and 7 vials of Revelation. They're clearly distinguished in the Bible. The wrath of God is not the same as the Great Tribulation because the Great Tribulation directly precedes the wrath of God. It's right after the tribulation is over, you have the wrath of God. So Jesus, is delivering us from the hour of temptation for the specific purpose of removing us from the wrath of God. So we're not going through the wrath of God. If you believe in a post-trib, you're avoiding the wrath of God. And we'll end it there, and then don't know what I'm titling part 2 of this series. So we'll just cross the bridge when we get there.
Yeah. We're scheduled for next Wednesday. So yeah, might do it on my channel, bro. Maybe I'll definitely, because I didn't appreciate how CJ didn't put a link to your channel, bro. I don't know if he did now or not, but yeah, man, like I feel like especially because I know you got deleted and everything. So definitely, I would like to do a stream on my channel with you. That way, I got like 1,300 subs, and my channel's probably gonna get deleted any day. So maybe you can get some of my subs to come on your channel since I'm here anyways on Wednesdays.
Yeah, I'll definitely hop on there.
Yeah. So we'll talk about it, as we go along. But eventually, we could do one of these on my channel. That way, we could get you some more subs. And I'm just gonna go ahead and do my prayers. I got the Serenity prayer, which I like a lot. It's God, please grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the strength to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. In your Son's Jesus, Yeshua's name, Amen. And if any atheists ever watch this, is the sinner's prayers. Dear Lord Jesus, I know that I'm a sinner and I ask you for your forgiveness. I believe you died for my sins and rose from the dead. I turn from my sins and invite you to come into my heart and life. I want to trust and follow you as my Lord and Savior. Amen. All right, bro. Thanks, Peter, for joining. I'll see you. I'll send you a message. I got this video I want you to see with Robert Breaker, because I know you like him, and this doctor lady, Carrie Madej. She's this lady, bro. Before I bounce, she kind of like when this all started, she was one of the doctors, lost her job and everything because she started speaking out against the vaccines and the mandates and everything. So she's been like a forefront, kind of went viral. So I'll send that to Peter here in a minute. God bless, Peter. I'll catch you next time. Peace.
Yep. So me and Iger are going backstage. This is Iger Television, your host, me, Christopher Silvius. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. God bless.
Click the link if you want to listen in, Peter. Click the StreamYard link if you want to come join the after show.
Yep,
off
click
YouTube.
that link. It's not too late. You know, we can see, can still get into the backstage. You don't know what's going on after the show. You know, we could be stripping in the evenings. So,
No,
you know, you
bro,
should
we're
come
gonna
check
talk
it out.
about
I'm not
like
saying stripping.
we're gonna talk about all the censorship stuff, probably that we can't talk about on YouTube. All right, y'all.
Come see us backstage.